Hi, I'm John with Lake Tahoe Tai Chi, and in today's video, we'll be going over the last few movements in the basic form for Tai Chi for beginners. You can either watch the entire video in full for each and every movement, as well as a practice session at the very end, or you can check the description below, and I will leave quick details of where each segment is. That way you can skip ahead and just go to whatever you'd like. So please leave your comments below. Please hit that like button if you enjoy this video. And also please subscribe to our channel to stay up to date for new content. So once again, I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's get to it. Okay, so before we start these movements, just make sure you have enough room to do these movements about arm's length apart, or as far as space, that's all you really need. And just make sure that you have a nice firm grip on the surface floor, whether it be carpet, hardwood floor, or if you're doing outside, that's completely fine too. All right. So the first motion that we're going to be going over is pushing palms forward. This is actually a warm-up that we do as well. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's just basic beginner warm-ups, and it's also included in there. So first thing is just make sure that you guys start in a nice comfortable stance. Remember, depending on your skill level, you can start from a very narrow stance like I am right now, or you guys can go a little bit wider to build a little bit more leg strength. Okay, so, but for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start like halfway in between, so just about outside shoulders. All right, so pushing palm forward, what we usually do is we start with the palms laying and facing straight down towards the ground. Obviously in class I like to say towards the earth because we draw from two directions, basically from the earth and then pulling down from the heavens. But in this motion we're going to start where the palms are facing towards the earth. And then what we're going to be doing is we're just going to make sure, number one, our shoulders are nice and relaxed, okay? And we have our posture in a Wu-Chi stance or square horse stance, okay? From here, we're going to roll the fingertips in, and then from that point in time, the fingertips will roll up toward the heavens and then do a slight roll out, okay? So this is the first motion that we should be practicing in our center. It's a very, very small motion. Here, pulling up and then rolling out, okay? Another way that you can practice is here, separating the palms and doing the exact same motion, pulling the fingertips in towards your body and then rolling them out, okay? What I like to start with is the fingertips, or sorry, not the fingertips, but the pinky. So from there, we roll it in and then roll it out, okay? So this motion here is the same exact thing. The only difference is the palms are separate, okay? But you can also look at that in the basic Tai Chi warm-ups as well. But this is just a small little drill that can help you out. Okay, so this motion here is pushing the palms forward or rolling palms, okay? But key things is, number one, making sure that the shoulders are nice and relaxed, okay? And then when we do the roll, that we have the roll inside towards our body and then pushing out, okay? Now, one thing you want to notice is, I'm going to turn to the side, is when we do this motion in the very beginning when we practice, okay, it's just here, okay? And then once we get this motion, we progressively pull the energy up. The motion rises and then it pushes out, and then now we can create a bigger circle here. Okay, so this is the circle that we want to maintain with pushing palms forward, but what we want to think about is drawing the energy up from the ground through heart center and then exhaling out as we push and finish that circle. Okay, but this is the motion that we want to focus on more than anything else, drawing up and then sending out. Okay, so from here, we're going to elongate that motion. Remember, we did a small circle here just for practice, but now we can do the full motion all together. So from here, as we start with the palms down, we roll the fingertips in, take a deep breath in, exhale out, push, and send down. Okay, deep breath in, exhale out, and down. Don't worry about too much for breathing right now, just focus on the motion. Okay, and then you can add the details and the implications of breathing a little bit later on. Okay, but just getting the motion, so we're working on more mechanics than anything else. Okay, so if you have a little bit of, I would say, pressure in your shoulders, or say for instance that this motion is too big for you, just remember, when we start with a small circle, okay, and we practice at home, you can actually make the circle bigger. Just depends on your comfort level. Okay, so if you're here and you're practicing and go, okay, this feels really nice, I can create a bigger circle, okay, that feels pretty good, right? And then you can do an even larger circle, drawing all the way in and then circling out. Okay, so from the side, it'll look like this. Here's our small circle that we started with. Okay, then we progressively make it a little bit bigger here. Okay, notice that the shoulders are still down. Okay, but same exact motion. And then once we feel a little bit more comfortable, make a bigger circle, drawing up, sending out, extending, and then down. Okay, make sure when you guys extend, you're not locking out the arms like so. Always just keep them bent. Just have this natural fold within the arms. Okay, then you just push down. So that's something that you guys can practice at home, but within the form, just within your comfort level, whether you want to do it with a small circle, medium circle, or big circle. Okay, so that is the motion of pushing palms forward. Now in this motion, like I said in the very beginning, you can start in the very narrow stance, but if you feel like you want to build a little bit more leg muscle and you want to work on strength, then get in a wider stance. Okay, same exact motion here, medium circle, and then bigger circle. Okay, and what you want to think about is keeping the hands nice and relaxed. When you draw up from this point in time, the hands are still nice and relaxed. When you send up and you send out, same exact thing. Palms, fingertips are nice and relaxed. Keeping the shoulders down, elbows down, making sure we don't rise up. That way we don't have any energy that's blocked. Okay, anytime that we have this tension in our shoulders and we're not relaxing down, the energy can't travel and flow in the right direction. Okay, so just make sure keeping the elbows, shoulders down. And I have a lot of my students just practice this because then they just focus on the hands and wrist itself. And then when they get the motion, feel comfortable, they pull the elbows in, do a little bit bigger circle, right? And then larger circle all the way up, and notice the elbows drop down, don't rise up. Same thing with the shoulder, and then you can send out. Okay, so this motion here. All right, so play around with that, but that is pushing palms forward or rolling palms forward. But remember, you can practice it with a small circle, build up to a medium circle, and then a larger circle. And then also will help you work with your breath as well too, if you'd like. So small circle, shorter breath, a little bit longer, medium circle, deep breath, filling, exhaling out, and just a little bit slower motion. So play with that, but that's basically it for rolling palms or pushing palms forward. Okay, so the next motion we're gonna be going over is pushing palms to the right and left side. This one is the same exact motion as pushing palms forward. So this motion here, right, we talked about just medium circle and then larger circle. The only difference now is that we are actually pushing out to a 45. So we can get in our square horse or wuchi stance, whatever, like I said, your comfort level is, just getting that nice comfortable stance. So from here, all we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same exact motion as pushing palms forward. The only difference is now we're gonna be slightly turning our hips at a 45, okay? So what we're thinking about is basically if we're in the center of a room, we're going to go from one corner to the next. Okay, what we don't want though is we don't want it to go all the way to the side because when we're practicing this motion, we just wanna be able to get a little bit of that spiral into the leg without causing too much tension. If we go too far out to the side where it's directly in line with us, then we cause a lot of tension and pressure within our, basically the side of our leg or side of our knee, okay? So if I turn this direction, when I push the palms out to a 45 or to the corners, it's here, okay? So if I roll and push out, it's out at a 45 versus here, okay? If I do it here, number one, this does, like I said, cause a lot of tension, a lot of pressure within the leg. In the very beginning, like I said, you want to go within your comfort level. If you can go to here, that's completely fine. I don't recommend it in the very beginning, but just remember, if you do this, okay, you cause a lot of tension, a lot of pressure within that leg that you're turning, or basically to the side that you're turning. So try not to go directly to the side, more to 45. It'll release that tension, and it's more of a natural turn than anything else, okay? So back to it, once we start in our wuchi stance, okay, after we roll the palms forward, this motion, then the next phase is going from right to left side. So from here, as we draw, all we're doing is slightly turn to a 45 or to that corner, push, and then down, okay? So it's the same exact circle. I kind of cut it into more of a box, but it's still this motion here, all right? Now, the reason I want you to kind of push is because when you push, you actually shift your weight to to basically the right leg. Okay, if you're mirroring me, I believe it should be the same, okay, but it's to your right leg. All right. Now, if you actually look from here and you look at your hip should kind of be tucked in, knee is still bent but not past the toes, and this is basically spiraling down into that leg. So if you're looking for an answer for weight distribution, I would say 60% of your weight is on the front leg and the back leg about 40%. Okay, so you're here, and then from this point in time, you're gonna roll the hands in, take a deep breath, switch back to center, so weight is now 50-50, and all you do is spiral and sink into the opposite leg, and then the same exact motion, okay? Same exact thing, make sure the knee doesn't go past the toes, check your hip and it should be tucked in ever so slightly, and that's just basically spiraling to the ground. Same thing, weight is 60-40, okay? As we complete that circle, once we draw up, as we draw, we center ourselves, deep breath in, exhale out, shift and push, deep breath in, shift to center, push and shift the weight to the opposite leg. Okay, deep breath in, roll, exhale out, down, and sink. All right, once more, deep breath in, roll the hands, exhale out as we push, complete the circle and down. Okay, so what we're learning here is the same exact roll, but now we're incorporating spirals. Okay, so think of a spiral as you shift and you spiral down to the one leg. Okay, as the energy compresses down to the ground, what we're going to do is we're going to release that pressure ever so slightly. Energy is going to roll up, through, and then spiral down to the opposite leg. Okay, but your center should be shifting. Okay, there's a big difference between keeping the center here and then moving the center. So if I keep the center here while I'm doing the motion, it's more of a spiral within center. Okay, which means in order for me to turn, I have to continuously go down as I do this motion here. Okay, so notice that my center hasn't really moved. Okay, I'm just spiraling in, but now I still have 50-50 pressure both on the right and left leg. Okay, if I rotate like I was talking about in the form, now we're shifting our center from here and going slightly over. Okay, but then we're also incorporating and learning all about the spirals when we sink into that leg. Okay, so the center is very important when we shift in this motion, that it is moving, but spiraling down into that leg. Okay, so we're learning how to now shift our center, okay, still maintaining balance, but remember, it's not directly 50-50 as far as weight distribution. We do have to make sure that the weight shifts from 60% to 40, back to 50-50, 60% to 40. Okay, and that's going to help you understand that spiral and understand the flow of energy once you actually get that motion drawing up, through, and then spiraling down to the next leg. But the motion is still very similar, or I would say the same, as pushing palms forward. So what you can do is you can start with a small circle on both left and right side, and then go to a medium circle and then a larger circle. Just remember, it all depends on your comfort level. Okay, so if we do it just from the square horse stance and we start from the middle, we have pushing palms forward here. Then when we're ready to shift at the corner, we shift our center ever so slightly, spiral it down, release the tension, roll through, energy moves, spiral down to the opposite leg. Okay, but still the same exact motion as pushing palms forward. The only difference is now we're working with spiraling into the leg, okay, the forward leg, releasing it so it can travel to the opposite side. Okay, so start, like I said, you can start with a small circle here, okay, then medium circle here, and then larger circle here. Okay, all right. So that's basically pushing palms to the right and left side, but remember, very similar motion to pushing palms forward. But like I said, just work with the circles and work with a smaller stance in the very beginning so you understand it, and then go wider if you'd like. But that's basically pushing palms or rolling palms to the right and left side. That's also in the form. All right, so after pushing palms to the right and left side, the next motion that we have is basically working on balance and transitioning through steps. Okay, in this form, it's very, very simple. We only take 2 steps back and then 2 steps forward, but there's a lot in it. In the very beginning, what I like to do is just make sure that the students understand shifting center from side to side. So all we're gonna do in the very beginning is just work on, like I said, just keeping the weight on each leg, but making sure the centers are shifting here. Okay, in advanced form or later on down the road when you feel a little bit more comfortable, then in another video we'll talk about how when we turn or when we step back, we can actually turn the dantian, okay, as we're shifting in that direction if we decide to circle it out or extend it out a little bit longer. Okay, but there's a lot to do with that because of foot positioning, but for right now we're just going to focus on keeping the center straight forward. Okay, and then also understanding foot positioning when we move back and then we move forward. Okay, so this has a lot in it because like I said, we're now learning how to transfer our center, okay, but within a level plane, all right, without having the energy go up and down. Okay, and I'll explain that a little bit later as we go through this. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start off with a basic balance drill. And this is just, same thing for transitioning, starting a square horse or a wuchi stance. Now for some of my students, I do want to mention this. Some of my students, they basically, mentioned to me in class or brought it up during class, hey, my feet don't feel very comfortable when they're straight forward. And I said, that's completely fine. Okay, you can actually start with your feet like this at a 45. I mentioned in a couple other videos, some forms do start like that, but either way is completely fine. Just remember it's within your comfort zone. So if you want a little bit wider base, just kick the feet out just a little bit. But either way, straightforward or here, doesn't matter. Same mechanics as a normal square horse or wuchi for rooting. Just make sure the knees don't go past the toes. Your your hips are have that pelvic tilt, and then just make sure the back is nice and flat. But as far as foot positioning, either one's completely fine. Okay, so whatever you decide, which is start there. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is just transferring to one side. Okay. And then we're gonna learn how to transfer the weight completely, but step by step, okay? So from here, what I'd like you to do is put your hands on your belly, okay? And then we're gonna start in that wuchi stance with our knees bent, okay? Now, from this point, we're going to shift the weight. Now, as we shift the weight, we're going to sink as well. There's a big difference between just shifting and sinking, okay? So when we shift, we're going to shift and sink. So now that we should feel some of the weight here. And then from that point in time, the next thing we're gonna do is take that opposite leg and we're going to lift the heel. Okay, once you lift the heel, you should feel that weight transfer a little bit more. And then from that point in time, you're gonna pull the knee in and then step in. Okay, so we'll try that again. So from here, knees are still bent, hands are on your belly. We're going to shift the weight, lift the heel, pull the knee in, and then step. Okay. Now from this point in time, what we're gonna be doing is walking backwards. So in order to step backwards, first thing we're gonna reach with is the ball, the ball of the foot. So the ball of the foot is gonna reach almost at a 45. You can go directly behind, but it's a little bit more difficult because it might feel like you're walking on like a tightrope, okay, just on one particular plane. So what we wanna do is kick that leg at a 45, but just notice that the foot and the heel is still directly straight forward. We're not turning out to the side, which turns our hip. We're just keeping it straight forward. Okay. So as we reach with the ball of foot, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to sink down as the heel touches. From that point, we're going to push the weight back and then shift the weight to the opposite leg. Okay. Now, from this point, we're going to lift the front toe, keeping the weight here on the back leg, and then we're going to touch with the toe, and then now we should be able to pull the leg in ever so slightly, okay? And then from here, we can reach with the opposite leg. Remember, ball of the foot, keeping it straight forward, setting the heel down first, keeping the hips level. We push our center back. We lift the ball of the foot, toe touches, and then in center, okay? Now, when we walk forward, okay, basically the same mechanics, but we touch with the heel this time instead of the ball of the foot. Then the flat of the foot can step down, same thing, point straight forward, and I shift, keep my hips level. Then the back foot, we lift the heel, you feel the weight transfer a little bit more to the front leg, and then touch. The next step, we touch with the heel, foot goes down, hips stay in a nice level plane, shift it forward, lift the heel, weight transfers ever so slightly, And then as we pull in, we can come in center. Okay, so that's basically the transitioning for stepping forward and back. But I do want you to keep in mind that in this drill, we're just keeping the belly button straight forward. We're not turning the hips all the way. Okay, we're just learning how to shift our center, understand how we can maintain center by keeping our hips level and making sure the energy doesn't rise up and down. Okay, so let's talk about energy rising up and down. Okay, through transitions, you can go up and you can go down. In this form and in this drill, what we're trying to teach our students is we're trying to maintain a steady plane. And then when we decide to go up, we only go up once we're in center, and then we can pop. So for example, I'll turn to the side. If I'm going back and I reach and then I set, I'm sinking. Then as I push down, the hips stay level, but I'm not going like this up and then down, okay? If I go up and down, the energy travels up and then sets. We don't want that. What we want is the level to stay completely the same as we push the energy back, sinking the back leg. And then once we transition to where we're coming in center, which means the opposite leg is coming in, then I have more control, more balance, and then I can pop up if I need to. Okay, whether I need to go left, right, it doesn't really matter. Okay, but what we don't want is we don't want this, because sometimes when we go up and down, it shows that we don't have a lot of control as well. Okay, we want to be able to control this transition, control that energy, okay, when we want, right? But if we're just falling on it, if we're overcommitting, then that's when we don't have that balance factor. Okay, so I'll show you once more. If I start here and I reach back, okay, if I go like this, up and down, okay, that's incorrect. What we want is to reach, sink into the ground, shift the hips back, nice easy level, and then if we decide to, once we come to center, we can pop straight up. Okay, so this should look like this as we go backwards. So hands on the belly, you shift and sink the weight to one side, reach with the opposite leg, set the heel down as we sink, push the center back, lift, touch, in. From here, I'm still maintaining my balance. Reach, sink, push, toe up, touch, and back in center. Same thing when we go forward, reach with the heel, flat of foot sets down, hips stay level. As we pull, I'm not doing this, I'm just rolling, so everything's coming into our center. And then we can disperse it out. Okay, shift, pull, in, and then up. Okay, so that's what we want to focus on when we're transitioning. And the reason for that as well too is because it keeps center throughout that whole entire transition. And the other thing is it will help build up your leg muscles to keep them or build them to where they're a little bit stronger as well too. So just think about that when you're transitioning back and forth. But what we don't want is, remember, this up and down. And you can see that if you are practicing in the mirror or in class. Okay, just make sure you're not overcommitting. So overcommitting would be this, right? We don't maintain tension. We release it, and then we step. Then we release it, and then we step, right? Then from here, if I'm stepping, I release it, and then step. So you can see that energy goes up and down, up and down. We just want to be able to control that wherever we're going. Nice balanced plane, and then we decide to shoot up when we want to, okay? But that's the transition for those steps. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in the hands for the form, and then everything will come together, okay? So in the form, after we've gone through our last motion of pushing palms forward, okay, and that is after pushing to the right, left, okay, and then we come back to center here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna roll the hands, separate them, and then we're just gonna imagine that we have a chi ball or a ball in front of us, okay? Just keep the shoulders nice and relaxed, okay? Just open up the palms ever so slightly, but from here, everything should be nice and comfortable, no tension whatsoever. So just watch out for the elbow being out. If your elbow's out, you'll feel that shoulder rise, so just keep it down for now, okay? So from here, we do the same transition like we did in the very beginning, and we shift the center, okay? Now, as we shift and the leg comes in, we're ready to take that step, what we're gonna do is roll the hands, take a deep breath in, and pull to center. Okay, as we step back, okay, we exhale out. As we pull in, roll. Step back, exhale out. As we come in, breathe in. Now moving forward, heel, exhale out. Breathe in. Send out. And then from there, we roll the palms in, up towards the heavens. From this point in time, leg and knee pull into center. Here's our center. Now I can shift and set. Okay, but in a controlled manner. All right, what we're not looking for is from this point, as we roll the hands, that we're doing this, and we're setting before the hands. Okay, we want to make sure that the transition is completely controlled. So as we roll, we pull everything to center, and then set. Okay, all right, so we'll do that one more time. So just from the beginning, we'll go after pushing the palms forward. So from here, deep breath in, send out, roll the hands, turn, breathe in, shift the center, reach with the toe, set the heel down, exhale out, breathe in, touch, roll, reach, set, breathe out, moving forward, pull in, heel, foot down, out, breathe in, pulling everything in center, out. Finish, over, palms up, leg in, controlled, and set. Good. So if you're practicing at home, easiest thing to do would be putting hands on your belly. Okay. Chi ball is in the form, but in the very beginning, hands are in your belly. It's a little bit easier. So all you have to do is just worry about the mechanics of how to step forward and back. But just remember those key little things, keeping the belly button straight forward for now, reaching with the ball of the foot when you're going backwards, when you go forwards, reach with the heel, and then also remember, when you're moving forward or moving back, the hips stay at a nice level plane, and then you go up if you need to, but once everything comes in the center. So that's a pretty big one, all right? So try that drill, and I'm just doing a very small space, but you can try that drill and stop and step back, 4 or 5 times if you'd like, and then same thing going forward. But just practice with it and then apply it in the form. But that's the energy ball or chi ball, walking back and walking forward, which will also help with balance and then strengthening your legs as well too. Okay, so the last motion in this basic form for Tai Chi for beginners is basically just the closing. In the very beginning, if you remember, we do this motion, which is basically a half draw and then into a full draw. All right, so to balance out at the very end, we do the reverse circle. Okay, so what's gonna happen is we're gonna start with the palms out. Okay, so remember, this is after we've done the chi ball, we've rolled up and we set down. Okay, now we do the reverse circle. So we can start with the hands down. From here, we roll the fingertips in, just like pushing palms, rolling palms forward. And all we're gonna do is pull up through the dantian, through heart center, up through and the top of the crown. And then at the top, we're gonna roll the palms out ever so slightly and then just push out. Okay, so this is the motion here. Okay, drawing in, through center, roll, and then push out. Okay, so just like rolling palms, this motion here, we can start with a very small circle. But what we need to imagine is pulling up through heart center, bringing the energy in, and then pushing the energy out. Okay, just a balance of drawing energy in and pushing what we don't need out. Okay, so we can start with a small circle here. Okay, breathing in, breathing out, and then a little bigger circle up, and then we can do a larger circle and then out. Okay, big thing to notice is that the hands are basically be in front of you more than anything else. Try not to have the arms go out like this right now. Okay, so if I turn to the side, this motion will look like this from a side view, drawing up and pushing out. What I always think about is pushing out to the 45, okay, but pushing out and away from my body. Okay, so here's the small circle, here's our medium circle, and then here's our large circle. But regardless, you should be able to see your hands and the motion in front of you versus all the way out to the side, okay? So this is the very closing motion, or the last motion in the form, but the same roll of palms applies to this motion as well too, okay? But what you want to think about, like I said, is drawing up from the ground through heart center, all the way up, and then extending out, okay? So as we go through this motion, we'll put our breath in sync with it. So from here, start with the palms down, deep breath in. Let's do a small circle, exhale out. Medium circle, deep breath in, out. And a little bit bigger circle, deep breath in and out. Good, we'll do once more, deep breath in, fingertips roll in, roll out, push, relax, deep breath in, up, over, exhale out. Okay, so these motions, what you're going to notice, are very, very similar. So some of the tips still apply, or still the key principles. Just number one, making sure that the shoulders are nice and relaxed, okay? Hands are nice and relaxed. And what you want to think about is the energy flowing and relaxing through the shoulder, through the elbow, down to the wrist, hand, and then fingertips, okay? So just like I would say most of the motions, when our shoulders go from here, we relax, sink the shoulders, elbow follows, wrist, hands, fingertips, and down. Okay, if you remember draw from the earth, it's this halfway draw, and the same exact thing, shoulders, elbows follow, wrist, palms, fingertips. Okay, so from here, as I draw up, everything's open, relax, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hands, and down. Okay, deep breath in. Relax, out. Once more, deep breath in. And out. Excellent. So that's the closing motion for the Tai Chi for Beginners form. Okay, but like I said, it's just a reverse circle from drawing from the earth to the heaven. So outside circle, inside circle. Easiest way to remember. Okay, and if you want to close it, just follow the form at the very end. It's the same exact motion, pulling up, sending out, and then close. Okay, so that's the very end. So I hope you guys practice that. Like I said, just small circles first, and then increase to bigger circles, but same tips and I would say techniques apply. Just making shoulders are nice and relaxed, and just think about that, relaxing all the way from here down, and then you should feel the energy, some tingling feeling or sensation within your fingertips. So that's basically where it resides the most. All right, so try that a couple times, but remember just those little tips. Okay, so now that we understand the last few motions, now we're going to put it all together. And this is something you can practice just in this segment in this video, or you can go to the complete form in another video. It's completely up to you, but this is just the practice session incorporating all those motions all together, everything that we've learned in a nice calming set. All right, there will be no music, unfortunately, so just try to follow along, breathe naturally, don't worry about it too much. Oh, and last big thing I always forget to mention is make sure you're looking in the direction where your hands are, okay, and pushing palms to the right and left. Okay, I've had an issue to where sometimes when we're following that, when we watch, you know, whoever we're following or instruction, our vision is here while our hands are over here. Okay, so in that motion, just look in that direction, everything will naturally align, and you'll notice because the dantian or the belly button will be facing that direction as well. Okay, so let's just start in a nice, comfortable Wu Chi stance. In this stance, I'm actually going to go a little bit wider. This is pretty comfortable for me, but remember, wider stance just means you're trying to work on a little bit more leg muscle than anything else. All right, okay. So from here, what we're going to be working with in the very beginning is just the middle of the form. So we're going to start with pushing the palms forward. Okay, we're going to do everything 3 times. You can go a little bit longer if you'd like to by yourself, but in this video we'll be going through every motion 3 times, okay? Except for walking back and walking forward. Okay, so palms are going to be down from here, pushing palms or rolling palms forward. Take a deep breath in, out, Hands relaxed, shoulders drop, and elbows are down. Once more, deep breath in and out. Now from here, pushing to the right and left side, breathe in. Remember, slight turn, sink the opposite leg, spiral down. Release the spiral, back to center. Breathe in, exhale out, and spiraling to the opposite leg. Breathe in, look to the corner, push out. Breathe in and out. Once more on each side. Relax and send out. Close the motion by coming to center, breathing in, deep breath, rolling palms forward and out. From here, we transition to the chi ball. Shift the center, breathe in. Leg comes in, center, step, exhale out. Breathe in as you roll, out. Moving forward, pull the leg in center, roll the hands, breathe in. Heel steps, send out. Breathe in. Step with the heel, send out. Roll the palms up, deep breath. Leg comes in center, gentle, controlled set. Closing motion, roll the fingertips in, breathe in. Up through center, send out. Breathe in and out. Relax the shoulders, let them sink with each motion, deeper and deeper. Closing motion, pull up to the side. Push out, in center, and close. All right, well, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoy those breakdowns and that tutorial, and then also make sure that you guys use this practice drill and try it at home as well. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Please subscribe to the channel for new content and stay up to date. And then if you guys have any questions, you can either email me as well too. And like I said, comment below. Please like this video as well. And then I will see you guys in the next one. All right, thanks.